Hello everyone, I'm Rahul and today I'm going to talk about loneliness. Most of us at some point in life go through this phase where we feel extremely lonely. We feel isolated and we find it really difficult to relate to the people around us. And whenever we are in such a space, we are driven by fear, we are driven by anxiety. So certainly it is not a very pleasant state of being. And one should try to get out of it as soon as possible. So first of all, I will explain to you what loneliness actually does to us. What is the root cause of feeling lonely? And later on, I will give you a very simple method which will help you in overcoming the feeling of loneliness. And not just that, eventually I will take you to a point where you will be alone and you won't resist it. You will cherish it. You will be simply blissed out in your own company. But that is the ultimate potential of being human. That is only a possibility when you are functioning on the optimum mode. Right now, if you're feeling lonely, if you're feeling anxious, it simply means that you are functioning on the default mode. So we have to take this journey from default mode to the optimum mode. And how will we take this journey? There is only one way: by confronting your loneliness, by staying with it, by becoming acquainted with it. When you stay with your loneliness, gradually it transforms into aloneness. So it is only by confronting loneliness that we can take this journey. But if you are going through some extreme fear and anxiety right now, then you are not fit to confront loneliness. Then we have to take a different route. Then first of all, we will have to get into a very pleasant state of being. And once we are in a pleasant state of being, then we can confront loneliness. First, we need to fix the default mode from unpleasantness to pleasantness. Now, the first thing to be understood here is that human beings are social creatures. This is the way nature has designed us. This is the way we have evolved for thousands and thousands of years. In the absence of any meaningful connection in your life, in the absence of any human interaction or intimacy in your life, you're bound to feel lonely. You cannot help it. This is our default design. In fact, in recent researches, it has been found that whenever we feel lonely, the same part of our brain is triggered, which is usually triggered in the moments when we feel hunger. So it says something about our design. Just like hunger is merely an indicator, it is trying to tell us that you need to eat food in order to survive. In the same way, loneliness is also trying to tell us something. It is also merely an indicator. It is telling us that you need to fix certain aspects of your life. Maybe you need to interact with more human beings. Maybe you need to take a genuine interest in other people's life. Whatever you need to do is irrelevant. The point remains that loneliness in itself is not something to be feared, because loneliness is just an indicator. You never fear hunger, but you fear loneliness. So this is the first thing to be understood. The moment you look at loneliness with this perspective, immediately your mental energy becomes free. The mental energy which was occupied in fear, anxiety, and all kinds of insecurity is now absolutely free. And now you can examine what loneliness is actually doing to you. And upon close examination, you will find something really surprising. All the lonely people find that they have become self-centered in nature. And this is kind of a positive feedback loop. The more lonely you feel, the more self-centered you become. And I know that it can sound harsh, because if you're going through loneliness, you want someone to sympathize with you, to comfort you. But the fact remains that your self-centeredness is the cause of loneliness in a way, because it is not your fault. There is a whole survival mechanism behind it. The more lonely you feel, the less you trust other people, the less you rely on other people, and the more independent you try to become. Because you cannot trust other people, right? So this whole journey of loneliness to independence is very isolating in nature. Everywhere you're just concerned about your own needs. You prioritize your own needs above everyone else's needs. Whether it is your workplace, whether it is your family, or whether it is about meeting new people, you're just concerned about yourself. You have taken your self-interest to a very neurotic level. And how can a person with such neurotic level of self-interest ever take an interest in other person's life? Ever try to relate to other person with some genuine curiosity? It is not at all possible. And nobody wants to be around such a person. So first of all, we are concluding here that loneliness and self-centered behavior coexist. And if you can just get rid of the self-centered behavior, loneliness will also disappear with it. So we are trying to work indirectly with our problem of loneliness. We will try to expand our circle of interest. This is how we will get rid of the neurotic level of self-interest. Right now you're just interested in your own needs. My money, my job, my finances, my needs. You shift this attention of yours outward. You start caring about other people. You start taking genuine interest in other people's life. You start taking genuine interest, a healthy level of interest in your environment. So the first step you need to take in order to expand your circle of interest is very simple. Just try to make someone happy every single day. You know, one of the greatest psychiatrists of last century, Alfred Adler, had a very interesting insight and advice for his depression patients. If someone used to come to him and ask him that, can you cure my depression? He used to tell them that I can cure it in just 14 days if you will follow my prescription. And what was the prescription? Just think of pleasing someone every single day. I know it sounds oversimplistic, but this advice actually works. So do not reject it without experimenting with it. When you try to take a genuine interest in other people's life, when you try to make them happy, your attention is turned outwards. The attention which was fixated on your neurotic self-interest. And when you really try to make someone happy, when you can become the cause of someone's happiness, sometimes people will reciprocate. They would want to relate to you in some way. So there is a possibility that you might create new connections with people. So I don't give a damn about who that person is in your life. It could be a family member, it could be a colleague, it could be some random stranger. Just make a commitment to yourself that every day I will try to make someone happy. The second thing that I want you to do to expand your circle of interest is very similar, but it is not person-centric, it is cause-centric. I want you to join some organization which is working for a cause that is far bigger than your personal needs, than your personal worries. If you care about environment, join some organization which is trying to make this environment better in some way. If you care about underprivileged children, join some organization which is trying to educate them or feed them. If you care about animal cruelty, join some organization which is trying to fight animal cruelty in some way. So whatever cause resonates with your heart, join it. And in this very process, you will find that your personal worries are nothing in comparison to what exists out there in this world. There are problems which are far bigger than your personal problems. You did not have this perspective because you were constantly worried about your personal problems. You narrowed down your consciousness on your own problems. So this working with the cause will really expand your circle of interest. It will give you a broader perspective. It will make you more humble. It will make you more compassionate. And you know, there is an ancient Chinese proverb. A bit of fragrance always clings to the hand that gives you roses. So if you will genuinely try to make someone happy in your life, if you will genuinely participate in a cause which is far bigger than your personal worries, one thing is certain. A bit of fragrance will cling to your hand. In the process of making other people happy, something of that happiness will stay with you. The ordinary law of economics does not apply to the world of sharing happiness. When you make other people happy, in that very process, you do not become poor. You become much happier than you are right now. So if you can just stick to these 2 steps for the next 2 months, one thing is certain, loneliness is bound to disappear from your life. You will not fear it anymore. You will not become anxious about it. You will come to a very pleasant state of being. And from that space, we can confront loneliness. From that space, we have to take a leap from loneliness to aloneness. And I have made a practical worksheet which will make it much easier for you to follow these first 2 steps. You can download the worksheet from the description box. It will be very helpful for you. Now let's come to the final point. Confronting the loneliness. Up until now, we were trying to get into a very pleasant state of being so that we can encounter loneliness, so that we can confront it and transform it into aloneness. Now there is a huge difference between these two words. In loneliness, there is neediness. In loneliness, there is anxiety and fear. In aloneness, there is absolute freedom. You do not need anyone else. In aloneness, there is bliss. There is contentment. And this transformation of energy happens when you become well acquainted with loneliness. Loneliness is only there when you try to escape it. There is fear, there is anxiety. But if you do not try to escape loneliness, if you gradually become well acquainted with it, you will find that it is the source of extreme bliss. It is the source of extreme freedom. So this is what I want you to do. Whenever you have time and whenever you feel this urge in you to engage in something or with somebody, just do not do it. Stay with your loneliness. See this urge in you. Do not do anything in that moment. And gradually you will find that these urges are happening on a very superficial level. These are just some sensations in your body, a particular pattern in your body which wants to tell you that you need to escape this moment. You need to engage in something, but don't do that. These patterns, these sensations will settle down. Slowly and slowly they will settle down, and slowly you will start tasting this bliss of solitude. So whenever you feel lonely, do not escape it. Just stay with your loneliness. Become very well acquainted with it. Watch what is happening in your body, and you will find that your body becomes very fidgety. There is this agitation in the body. It constantly wants to be engaged in something. Your body cannot sit silently. Your body cannot be alone. It needs some engagement. So watch these sensations without reacting. Watch what is happening in your breathing pattern, and you will find that your breath has become very shallow. So you can manipulate it here. You can take a deep breath. The breath becomes shallow because it is taking it as a stress response. It is trying to escape it. So the moment you take a deep breath, you will calm down a little bit. Your body will calm down a little bit. Watch what is happening in your head. What kind of thoughts are you having? There will be a constant stream of thought which will tell you that you're wasting your time by sitting alone. Engage in something. Do not waste your energy. Just watch these thoughts without reacting to them. Slowly and slowly, all these sensations in the body, in the mind will settle down, and you will find that beyond these sensations, just being alone is very blissful experience. It is something to be experienced. It is something to be tasted. So the day you will experience the bliss of aloneness, the freedom of aloneness, that very day, loneliness will completely disappear from your life. That very day, the roots of loneliness are destroyed because you have transformed the energy. You have turned your loneliness into aloneness. You have taken the leap from default mode to the optimum mode. And now the whole taste of your life will change.